There is something about the way a cat chooses you, not with the bounding enthusiasm of a dog who loves everyone, but with a slow, deliberate gaze, a pause, a consideration, and then, if you are lucky, they curl beside you, not because they need you, but because they decided you were worth their time. If you have ever felt that quiet honor, this is for you, because the bond between a person and their cat says something profound about who you are. Not what the stereotypes claim, not the tired jokes about lonely people and too many cats. Something deeper, something the research is only beginning to understand. You clicked on this video for a reason. Maybe you have a cat sleeping near you right now. Maybe you have always felt more connected to these quiet creatures than to the louder, more obvious displays of affection. Or maybe you have never owned a cat but felt a strange pull toward them, a recognition. Whatever brought you here, stay with me, because we are about to explore the psychology of people who love cats, and what we find might just explain something you have always sensed about yourself, but never had the words for. Let us begin with the tension, the quiet war that cat lovers have faced for generations. Society has long favored the dog, the loyal companion, the protector, the friend who greets you at the door like you are the most important person in the world. Dog ownership is celebrated. It signals friendliness, extroversion, an open heart. But cat ownership? Research suggests that cat owners face subtle social judgments that dog owners rarely encounter. Studies have found that people often perceive cat owners as less warm, less social, even less trustworthy than their dog-owning counterparts. The stereotype persists. The quiet person with the cat must be lonely, antisocial, perhaps a little strange. But here is where things get interesting. When researchers actually study the personality traits of cat owners, a different picture emerges, one that challenges everything the stereotypes suggest. Studies published in psychology journals have found that people who prefer cats tend to score higher on measures of openness to experience. They display greater levels of sensitivity. They often demonstrate what psychologists call introverted intuition, a cognitive style marked by deep reflection, pattern recognition, and a rich inner world. In other words, cat people are not lonely, they are deep. Consider a profile that researchers often encounter in their studies. Someone who works in a creative or analytical field. Someone who needs hours of uninterrupted thought to do their best work. They come home after a day filled with noise and shallow conversation. Meetings that could have been emails. Small talk that drained more than it gave. And there, waiting in the quiet of their apartment, is a creature who demands nothing but presence. No performance, no forced enthusiasm, just shared silence. The cat does not need to be walked, does not need constant attention, simply exists alongside them in peaceful coexistence. For this person, the cat is not a substitute for human connection. The cat is a different kind of connection entirely, one that matches the rhythm of their inner world. This brings us to what psychologists call the mirror effect. We are often drawn to animals that reflect something essential about ourselves. Research suggests that the pets we choose can serve as extensions of our own personalities. Dog lovers often value loyalty, social bonding, and external validation. Cat lovers often value independence, autonomy, and emotional depth without the need for constant reassurance. The cat becomes a mirror, a creature that shows us who we are by how we relate to it. Think about what it takes to earn a cat's trust. You cannot force it. You cannot buy it with treats alone. A cat observes you, watches how you move through the world, notices whether you respect its boundaries or push too hard, and slowly, Over time, if you prove yourself worthy, the cat allows you in. This process mirrors how many deep thinkers approach human relationships. They do not give their trust freely. They watch, they wait, they observe patterns before opening up. And when they finally do let someone in, that bond runs deep. The cat teaches patience, teaches that love does not have to be loud to be real. Now let us go deeper into the brain itself. Neuroscience offers fascinating insights into why certain people are drawn to cats. Research on what scientists call the default mode network reveals something important. This network of brain regions becomes active when we turn inward, when we daydream, reflect, imagine, process our experiences. People with highly active default mode networks tend to be more introspective, more comfortable with solitude, more drawn to environments that allow for quiet contemplation rather than constant stimulation. Studies suggest that introverts and highly sensitive people often have more active default mode networks. They process information deeply, they notice subtleties that others miss, and they need recovery time after social interaction because their brains are working harder to process all the input. Now consider the environment that cat ownership creates. Low stimulation, quiet companionship, a presence that does not demand constant engagement. For someone with a highly active inner world, a cat provides the perfect balance. Connection without overwhelm. Companionship without the social tax that comes with more demanding relationships. Research has also explored the concept of emotional regulation in pet owners. Studies suggest that cat owners often report that their pets help them manage stress and anxiety in ways that feel natural rather than forced. The purring of a cat has been measured to fall within a frequency range of 25 to 150 Hz. Frequencies in this range have been associated with healing properties, reduced stress hormones, lower blood pressure, decreased anxiety. When a cat curls on your lap and purrs, something physiological happens. Your nervous system responds, not through conscious effort, but through the simple act of sharing space with a calm presence. There is something almost medicinal about that vibration. Research suggests that exposure to frequencies in the range of a cat's purr may even promote bone density and tissue healing. While more studies are needed to confirm these effects in humans, the preliminary findings point to something cat owners have always intuited, that the presence of a purring cat is not just emotionally comforting, it may be physically healing as well. The cat does not know it is providing therapy, it simply exists, and in that existence, it offers something the modern world struggles to provide, a moment of pure, uncomplicated calm. Think about the last time you sat with a purring cat, really sat with it, not scrolling on your phone, not thinking about tomorrow's deadlines, just present, feeling the warmth, hearing that rumble, matching your breathing to the slow rhythm of an animal at complete peace. In that moment, something shifts. The racing thoughts slow down. The tension in your shoulders releases. The endless mental to-do list fades into the background. This is not imagination. This is your nervous system responding to environmental cues of safety. The cat is calm, therefore you can be calm. It is ancient biology meeting modern stress, and the cat wins every time. Research on the human-animal bond has begun to explore why certain animals produce these calming effects more than others. Dogs, while beloved, often bring energy into a space. They want to play, want to walk, want your active engagement. Cats bring stillness. They model a way of being that many humans have forgotten. The art of doing nothing, of sitting in a patch of sunlight simply because it feels good, of sleeping when tired without guilt, of demanding nothing from the moment except the moment itself. For the overstimulated mind, for the person drowning in productivity culture, the cat offers a radical permission. The permission to simply be. Let us explore another dimension of this bond, the concept of depth processing. Highly sensitive people, a term coined by psychologist Elaine Aron, process sensory and emotional information more thoroughly than others. They notice the slight shift in someone's tone, the tension in a room that others miss, the unspoken feelings beneath surface conversations. Research suggests that highly sensitive people make up roughly 15 to 20% of the population, and studies have found correlations between high sensitivity and preference for cats over dogs. Why might this be? Consider what a cat offers the sensitive soul. A dog's love is exuberant, wonderful in its own way, but potentially overwhelming for someone who processes deeply. The jumping, the barking, the constant need for attention. A cat's love is subtle, a slow blink across the room, which researchers have confirmed is a sign of trust and affection in felines. A gentle headbutt, a choice to sleep near you rather than in any of the dozen other spots available. For someone attuned to subtlety, these small gestures carry enormous meaning. The cat speaks in whispers, and the deep thinker hears every word. There is also the matter of independence, not loneliness, but true psychological independence. Research in personality psychology distinguishes between people who derive their sense of self primarily from external validation and those who maintain a stable internal sense of identity. Cat lovers often fall into the second category. They do not need constant reassurance, do not need someone or something to tell them they are worthy. They find that worth within. And the cat, with its own fierce independence, validates this approach to life. The cat does not need you to feel complete, and somehow that makes the moments when it chooses you even more meaningful. Consider what this teaches us about healthy attachment. Psychologists talk about secure attachment as the ideal relational style. People with secure attachment feel comfortable with intimacy, but also comfortable with independence. They do not cling. They do not avoid. They find the balance. The relationship between a cat and its human often models this secure attachment beautifully. The cat comes and goes. Sometimes it wants closeness, sometimes it wants space, and the human learns to respect both. This dance of connection and independence creates a relationship that feels neither suffocating nor distant. It feels right. Let us create a narrative illustration based on patterns researchers have observed. Consider someone we will call Maya. She works as a writer, spends her days wrestling with words, trying to capture feelings that most people never slow down enough to notice. Her social battery drains quickly. Not because she dislikes people, but because she feels everything so intensely. A coffee meeting with a friend leaves her needing hours to recover. Not from anything negative, just from the sheer volume of information her brain processed during the conversation. Every micro-expression, every tonal shift, every unspoken feeling beneath the words. Maya has a cat named Oliver, a grey tabby who claimed her 3 years ago at a shelter. She had gone in looking at dogs initially, thought that was what she was supposed to want. But Oliver caught her eye, sitting quietly in his cage while other cats meowed for attention. Watching her with calm curiosity, she sat with him for an hour that first day, neither demanding anything from the other, just existing together. She knew before she left that he was hers, or rather, that she was his. Now Oliver serves as her anchor. After a draining day of words and people and feelings, she comes home to his quiet presence. He does not rush her, does not demand immediate attention. He acknowledges her arrival with a slow blink, then returns to his sunbeam. And in that simple exchange, Maya feels understood in a way she struggles to explain. Oliver requires nothing from her performance, no mask, no social energy she does not have, just her, exactly as she is. And in return, she provides him with a home, a gentle hand, a human who speaks his language of silence. This pattern appears again and again in the research and in clinical observations. People who love cats often share certain traits: high sensitivity, introspection, a rich inner world, a preference for depth over breadth in relationships. They may have fewer close friends than the average person, but the friendships they do maintain run deep. They value quality over quantity, authenticity over performance, and they find in cats a companion that operates by the same principles. Let us consider another composite profile, a person we will call Daniel. He works in technology, spending his days solving complex problems that require sustained concentration. He has always felt slightly out of place in social settings, not awkward exactly, but aware that he operates on a different frequency than most people around him. Small talk exhausts him. He finds himself counting the minutes until he can return to his own space, his own thoughts, his own rhythm. Daniel adopted a black cat named Shadow 5 years ago. The name seemed obvious at first, but over time, it took on deeper meaning. Shadow follows Daniel from room to room, always present, but never intrusive. When Daniel works late into the night on a difficult problem, Shadow curls on the desk beside his keyboard. Not demanding attention, not interfering, just there. A warm, breathing presence that makes the solitary work feel less isolated. What Daniel has come to understand is that Shadow provides what he calls witnessed solitude, the experience of being alone but not lonely, of having another consciousness present without the pressure of interaction. Research suggests that this experience of witnessed solitude may be particularly valuable for introverts and deep thinkers. It satisfies the need for companionship without depleting the social energy that true interaction requires. The cat becomes a silent witness to your inner world, and somehow, that witnessing makes the inner world feel more real. But let us address the tension directly, the struggle of being a cat person in a dog person's world. Research suggests that the social preference for dogs is not universal but culturally reinforced. Dogs are visible. They go on walks. They visit parks. They create opportunities for social interaction that are socially rewarded. Cat ownership happens largely behind closed doors. The bond is private, intimate, invisible to the outside world. And in a culture that often values the visible over the invisible, cat lovers can feel quietly misunderstood. This mirrors the broader experience of the deep thinker in modern society. We live in a world that rewards extroversion, loudness, constant connectivity. The person who processes deeply, who needs solitude to function, who finds meaning in quiet moments rather than crowded rooms, often feels out of step with the dominant culture. And yet research consistently shows that introverts and highly sensitive people bring irreplaceable gifts to the world: creativity, insight, the ability to notice what others miss, the capacity for deep, meaningful connection, even if with fewer people. Consider how often cat people have had to defend their choice of companion. How many times have you heard someone say they are a cat person only to watch the other person wrinkle their nose? The implicit judgment hangs in the air. Dogs are loyal. Dogs are friendly. What does it say about you that you prefer a creature with such a reputation for aloofness? But what the critics miss is precisely what the cat lover understands. The cat's selectivity is not coldness, it is discernment. The cat does not love everyone, and that is exactly what makes its love meaningful. In a world of easy likes and shallow connections, the cat offers something increasingly rare: affection that must be earned. The deep thinker recognizes this dynamic because they live it themselves. They do not open up to everyone. They do not distribute their energy freely across dozens of superficial relationships. They invest deeply in a chosen few, and they recognize in the cat a kindred spirit, another creature that saves its warmth for those who deserve it, another being that values quality over quantity. The bond between a deep thinker and a cat is not difficult to understand at all. It is two souls recognizing in each other the same approach to love. The cat lover understands something that the broader culture often misses. Love does not have to be loud to be real. Connection does not require constant demonstration. Sometimes the deepest bonds are the quietest ones. The cat asleep at your feet while you read. The purr that starts when you finally sit down after a long day. The slow blink exchanged across a room. These are not lesser forms of love. They are different forms, equally valid, equally meaningful, perhaps even more meaningful for their subtlety. Research has also explored the therapeutic benefits of cat ownership specifically. Studies have found that cat owners show reduced risk of death from heart attack and stroke compared to those who have never owned cats. The calming presence of a feline companion appears to have measurable health effects: lower cortisol levels, reduced blood pressure, improved mood regulation. For someone whose nervous system runs hot, who feels the world intensely, a cat provides a natural form of regulation, a biological anchor to calm in a chaotic world. There is also emerging research on the role of cats in supporting mental health. Studies suggest that cat ownership may be associated with reduced symptoms of anxiety and depression, particularly for people who live alone. The routine of caring for another creature provides structure. The presence of a living being in the home provides companionship. And the specific nature of feline companionship, with its respect for boundaries and its quiet constancy, may be particularly well suited to supporting mental health in sensitive individuals. Think about what a cat asks of you: fresh water, food at regular intervals, a clean litter box, a warm place to sleep. These are simple needs, easily met, and in meeting them, you are pulled out of your own head, given a reason to maintain routine even when depression makes everything feel pointless, given a creature who depends on you even when you struggle to see your own worth. The cat does not care about your failures or your anxieties. The cat cares that you showed up, that you filled the bowl, that you were there. Sometimes that simple expectation is enough to keep someone going through the darkest days. There is something profound happening in these quiet households where cats and their humans coexist. Something that speaks to a different way of being in relationship, one based not on need or dependency, but on choice and respect. The cat chooses to stay even though it could survive without you. The human chooses to love even though the cat will never perform gratitude in obvious ways. Both parties maintain their independence while still forming a bond. This is not a lesser form of connection. This is a mature form of connection, one that many human relationships could learn from. The cat teaches us that presence is enough, that you do not have to constantly prove your love for it to be real, that sitting in silence together is its own form of intimacy, that respecting boundaries is not rejection, but respect. These are lessons that many people never learn in their human relationships, but the cat person learns them quietly, through years of coexistence with a creature that demands authenticity above all else. As we move toward closing, let us sit with what we have explored. The psychology of people who love cats reveals not loneliness, but depth, not social failure, but a different kind of social intelligence, not a deficit of connection, but a preference for connection that does not require performance. The cat lover sees something in that quiet creature that resonates with their own inner world. The independence, the selectivity, the capacity for deep affection expressed in subtle ways. And in nurturing that bond, they nurture something essential in themselves. Perhaps that is the deepest truth of all. In loving a cat, we learn to love the quiet parts of ourselves, the parts that do not perform, the parts that need solitude to recharge, the parts that feel deeply even when we do not show it. The cat does not ask us to be anyone other than who we are. And in that acceptance, we find permission to accept ourselves. We stop apologizing for needing quiet, stop explaining why we prefer a night in over a crowded bar, stop defending our need for depth in a world obsessed with surface. The cat already gets it, and maybe that is why we love them so much. If you are watching this and you feel seen, there is a reason. You are part of a community of quiet souls who have always known that love does not have to announce itself to be real, who have found in cats a companion that matches your rhythm, respects your boundaries, and loves you not in spite of your depth, but because of it. The stereotypes get it wrong. Research gets it closer to right, but you have always known the truth in your bones. In the weight of a cat on your lap, in the rumble of a purr against your chest, in the eyes that meet yours across a room and say, without words, I chose you. That is not nothing. That is not small. That is everything. And that wraps up today's exploration of the beautiful psychology behind people who love cats. If this resonated with you, take a moment to hit that like button. It helps more than you know. If you are not subscribed yet, consider joining us for more content like this. We dive deep here. No surface level fluff, just real explorations of what makes us who we are. Drop a comment below and share your own story. Tell us about your cat. Tell us about that moment when you realized you were a cat person. We read every single comment, and we genuinely love hearing from you. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.